If we have tight shoulders, some yoga poses are very challenging, especially those that have us grab our hands behind us or interlace the fingers and draw forward. In this class, let's explore ways to open up the shoulders so that you can have more flexibility in those poses. We'll begin. We'll be using blocks and a strap. If you don't have them, I'm sure you can improvise in some way. Take 2 blocks at the very top of your mat. Before we start shoulder work, let's do some forward bends to begin with. Place your blocks right in front of you and place your fingers right on the blocks. You can bend your knees. Inhale, expand and look forward. Exhale with the knees bent, widen your elbows and draw down. Just pulse with the breath. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, draw down. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale and draw down. With the knees bent, place the hands to your low back and rise up. Come to a standing position. When we do the forward fold, so often you find that people just round the spine. So you want to keep the length from the pelvis to the armpit with the heads of the arm bones drawing back as you just pulse with the breath, especially at the beginning of the practice. As you place your feet hip distance apart to get a good foundation, once again, take the fingertip tops to the blocks. Inhale, lengthen, keeping in mind it's spinal length that we're working on. I like bending the knees to keep that length as you draw down. You pulse with the breath to lift up. Exhale with the fingers really pressing into the blocks. It allows you to take the heads of your arm bones back so you get this nice openness in the shoulders. Exhale, draw down. Inhale, lift up. Now place your right foot just in a triangle, equilateral triangle, let's say. Right foot kind of centered in the blocks. Place your hands on the blocks. Get lightness on the left foot as you reach it to the side. Just lift it up. With the right knee slightly bent, just keep on lifting the left foot up, pulsing slightly. You've got a nice elongated spine. You're starting to get the feeling that you're toning the outer right hip. Release your foot down, center your left foot, and again, just tap the right foot to the side. Lift up the leg, slightly bend the standing leg, and just pulse and get this nice feeling of engagement here. You'll tone the glutes, the outer hip area as you stay nice and elongated in the spine. Release your foot back. With the knees bent, place your hands to the low back and rise up. I always like to mix a little hip work with the shoulder work and continue this spinal elongation work. As you stand with your feet hip distance apart, interlace your fingers and press your knuckles just to your low back and squeeze your elbows in toward each other. Keeping that, draw forward. Keep squeezing your elbows in toward each other. Now bend your knees just like we did in the last cycles. Lift your interlaced fingers slightly up off your low back. Keep the elbows bent. As you lift your interlaced fingers up, relax your head so you can elongate the neck just with the weight of the head. Keep on reaching the interlaced fingers up with the elbows bent. Keeping your knees bent, place your hands to your low back. Free your hands from the interlaced fingers. Press the flesh down to inhale and rise up. Now, see, just get a nice opening to the chest. Now let's do that in a wide stance. So as you step wide, turn your right toes out. And as if you're trying to claw the mat with your toe tips, press down through the toe tips. So you draw from the toe tips into the heel and bend your knee. I see that I could go a little bit wider to keep my knee right over my ankle and settle in. Interlace your fingers just as we did when our feet were parallel and narrower. Hug your elbows in toward each other, keeping the knuckles to the low back. Just draw forward slightly. Maybe you can lift your interlaced fingers up off your back as you settle deeper into the pose. Again, keep the elbows bent. Press your hands to your low back now. Press the flesh down to inhale and rise up. That keeps a nice elongation to the side body. The heads of the arm bones stay back. Try that on the opposite side. Look to make sure that the front heel bisects the back arch as you bend your knee and you keep the back leg strong. In yoga, it's great to explore these areas, especially if you feel like, oh gosh, I'm kind of stuck in the shoulders, for example, as we're working on. See if you can find out in your own practice as you interlace your fingers behind your back and press your knuckles to your low back with the elbows hugging in. Your own practice allows you to just kind of enjoy the discovery. As you keep the back leg strong, you find out for yourself how you can customize your practice to continue to expand while just rediscovering different sort of idiosyncratic aspects of your body that you can help to refine just through your yoga practice. Place your hands to your low back. Again, press the flesh down to inhale and rise up. Have your feet parallel and just heel toe your feet in toward each other. Come to the top of your mat. We've worked on lengthening the side body, taking the heads of the arm bones back. And you'll see I have several videos addressing different shoulder actions, and I'll give you the links in the description. So check those out as well. Come to the top of your mat with your feet parallel. And again, interlace your fingers behind your back. Pull your wrist creases in toward each other. Take the heads of the arm bones back with length to the side body. Exhale, draw down, keeping the spine elongated. Take the interlaced fingers away from your low back and reach them up toward the sky. Bend your knees slightly. Maybe you can go just slightly further with the knees bent. Place your hands to your low back. Press your flesh down to inhale and rise up out of the pose. Take a wide stance again. As you step wide, as if in this wide stance, you're paddling. So take your left arm up, reach your right hand back, and as if you're holding on to a paddle, reach back and forward, and reach back and forward. Let's do those actions now with a little bit more action in our legs. So bend your left knee so you can really reach back so the right arm stays straight and forward, and you reach back, strong action in the arm, and one more time, reach back, come back to center position with the right hand forward, the left hand back. Just start working the paddle as you draw your left hand straight back Now bend your right knee and continue that action. So now we're working both the inner thigh and getting this left arm to reach back, and inhale to lift yourself up out of the pose. Step your feet hip distance apart or heel toe your feet in. If you've got a strap, find it. And if you don't have a strap, I'm sure you can find something in your home to improvise. Take the strap or whatever you've got and just take the strap in half. Take the strap over your back. Now with the strap over your back, you find the strap. Draw the strap so that it connects with your wrist. So you just slide your hand in so that the fingers are actually free. You're not gripping the strap anymore. So with your left hand, you can reach the hand forward and down to just get a little bit more opening in the shoulder and release it down. We'll do this a couple cycles here. Reach the left hand forward and down. And again, just keep on working this fullness of the cycle. So now that you've got the hang of that, the action itself, just lifting the arm up, just with a pulling of the opposite hand, you step wide again and turn your right toes out. And as you pull the hand a little bit up toward your shoulders, you reach your heart toward the inner knee. Very similar action that we did to start with. Inhale, lift up, and release your hand out of the strap. You still have this little loop for the opposite hand to work with. So you take the strap behind you. You find that little loop and slip your hand into the loop. So it's cradling the hand. And let's do the action again. So you're lifting the hand up by pulling the strap down. You don't want to pull too hard. Sometimes the chin likes to come forward when you're doing this. See if you can keep a nice alignment. Just pulling. You can do a lot of repetitions here. If you find that you've got a lot of tightness in one shoulder, for those of us that lead with one arm, which most of us do, in many cases the right arm, you might find just a slight sensitivity right at the head of the arm bone. So don't go too far, but just get a little bit more spaciousness right there in the shoulder joint. Step wide now, turn your left toes out, bend your left knee, and as you pull the strap, draw your heart down toward the inner knee. Inhale, rise up. Release your strap. And with your feet parallel, with the hands behind your back, with the knuckles pressing the low back, the elbows hug in. If you can take the interlaced fingers away from your back, while in this nice wide position where the feet are very active, you're pulling the feet in isometrically toward each other, you explore the actions as you draw your heart down and lift the interlaced fingers up away from the low back. If you're finding after all these actions to open the shoulders that you can come towards straight arms and reach the interlaced fingers just a little bit further up and maybe even over your head. Do so. You can release now. Place your hands to the low back with your knees bent. Press your flesh down to inhale and rise up, thereby just keeping this nice openness to the chest as you come out of the pose. Come to a seated pose now. As you come to a seated pose, bend your right knee and take your left knee right over the right and press the outside edges of your feet very firmly into the mat. I'll give you the side view so that you can see the same action that we were just doing in the strap. So place your strap over your shoulder. Take the strap just in the loop again. And as with one hand pulls the strap down, you can just get a little bit more opening of the chest. Now let's combine this with just a little bit of hip work here. As you keep your legs active, press down through the baby toe side of the foot. Draw your heart forward, not head down. Your gaze still stays forward as you just draw forward just slightly. And notice how one sit bone feels like it's not as solid as the other. So see if you can keep both sit bones down as you draw slightly forward. Inhale, lift yourself up and release your strap. Take your strap in the opposite hand and fold your legs in such a way. Now, by the way, some of us, the bottom leg is not going to like this so much, so you can keep that bottom leg straight. Or those of you that can double fold your legs here and keep your feet active. Keep pressing through the outside edges of the feet with your right leg on top. Take the strap in your left hand and find again that loop to the strap and pull the strap so that you can get yourself a nice opening. You're not straining so much, you're just supporting the hand as you pull the strap down toward the earth. Keep your feet active, keep hugging the inner thighs in toward each other, and draw your heart forward slightly, keeping your legs active. Keep on pressing down through the right sit bone. Inhale and lift yourself out of the pose. Exhale and release. We did a lot of shoulder work, so let's go back to just a little bit of hip work before closing here. Take your feet nice and wide apart. Place your hands in a prayer position. Draw your knees over to one side. Keep the spine nice and elongated and lift your knees up. Exhale, draw your knees the opposite direction and lift the knees up. Lie down on your back and do the same action with your feet as wide apart as your mat is, with your arms now out just to open up the upper chest. We've been working the shoulders quite a bit, so draw your knees over to your right side and get this nice length all the way from the left knee to the left armpit. Just feel this length here. Inhale, lift your knees up. Exhale, just reach the knees to the opposite direction. We'll do this one more cycle, and if you feel like your knee can bear a little weight in the action, Draw your knees over to the right side. Take your right ankle to the outer left knee and just get just a little bit more fullness to the left side. So you want the legs to be really active. You're not letting just gravity take hold and let them flop side to side. You're pressing in through the outside edges of the lifted foot and pressing in through the inside edges of the foot on the floor. Release your right foot back to the mat. Again, feet are as wide apart at least as the mat is. Draw your knees to the opposite side. And again, if this knee feels like it can bear the weight of the opposite leg, just park your outer ankle to the outer knee area and just allow this nice fullness here. Release your foot down, lift your knees up, heel toe your feet so that they're hip distance apart. Press your elbows down. Now that we've done all the work to lengthen the side body, take the heads of the arm bones back for a bridge pose. Lift your pelvis up and explore how you can extend and elongate as you press your head back to open your chest more, to get more fullness to the breath. Exhale, release your pelvis down, release your arms, and extend your legs. And slowly close your eyes. Let's invite a nice ease in your breath and softness. In this practice, we worked to get more shoulder extension through various techniques. See if you can just take your awareness to the shoulders. Just allow your arms to be very heavy. And let the breath create just a little bit more spaciousness in the upper chest. Thereby giving you this feeling of greater ease in your arms. Your legs feel very heavy. You take this time to just assimilate the actions of the practice. You invite the breath to assist in finding fullness and ease. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. A deep breath in and a long breath out. One more. Breathe in deep. And breathe out long. With your knees bent, plant your feet. Reach your arms up and over your head. Draw over to your side, just resting your head on your extended arm. Very slowly lift yourself up to come to a seated pose. Place your hands right in front of your heart. We honor the teachings that yoga brings to us about our own bodies, allowing us to explore and discover and rediscover and refine the actions of our yoga practice. And to these teachings, we bow. Namaste.